dokie. Let's do a little rain dance to make sure that we do not have any connection issues. Okay. Kaspar is in our blue corner. Starting out on the wood. Looking to go for that pretty standard kind of fast racks opening. Meanwhile, StriKeR also on, he was on the wood, but now he is gone for this hunt here. And he's got his priestess empowering the storehouse. So interesting choice from StriKeR. As opposed to empowering the town center, he is choosing to empower the storehouse here. So that should help him gather both the food more quickly as well as the wood. As you can see there, these villagers are dropping off 11 as opposed to 10 of each resource. So interesting choice there from StriKeR. And Kaspar does see this, so we'll see how he chooses to respond. Barracks coming down for StriKeR. Barracks already almost completed for Kaspar, so it looks like Kaspar's going to have his barracks up a little bit more quickly. Kaspar also gathering from the hunts and from these trees next to the hunt storehouse, so very nice from our players there. First spearman on his way for Kaspar. We'll see if Kaspar's able to parlay this into some early aggression with these Celt spearmen. StriKeR now heading to his woodline. Let's take a quick look at the map. The basis for these players, pretty wide open choke point over here on the east for Kaspar. A couple kind of regular sized choke points over here on the west. This tree line very nicely kind of blocks that back door, so really Kaspar just has to wall up right here. He does have this back choke point right here, so he'll have to wall that up or simply get a wall going right here. Because this tree line also blocks right over here. So maybe a couple nicely placed walls can help him prevent some raiding. Meanwhile, for StriKeR, kind of the same deal. Needs to get maybe a wall up over here, maybe a wall right here, and then he's got two kind of front door choke points there. So we'll see how our players choose to prevent raiding. But here comes Kaspar. Moving in with one spearman. He's got a couple spearmen in tow. The scout is also trying to deal some damage. So these Celt spearmen, nicely done there from Kaspar. He's able to get one Egyptian spearman. He needs to micro this low health spearman here. He is going to lose one. Gets that villager. So that's a good pickup there from Kaspar. But StriKeR's almost in H2. Kaspar needs to try to do a good job here to micro these units. He is doing a good job. StriKeR falls back. He's now got 3 spearmen, so he may be able to contest this a little better. But here comes another spearman for Kaspar. So a lot of early game aggression here for Kaspar. And look at this. Kaspar might be able to drop another spearman almost, but StriKeR's able to get him away. But here comes another spearman for Kaspar. So look at this. Kaspar, a lot of early game pressure on StriKeR here. This could be really good for Kaspar. More spearmen streaming across the map. However, he's not in H2 yet. He does have his 3 houses. The Celts have to build 3 houses in order to go to H2. StriKeR already in H2, so he is now going to be able to get axemen out. And these axemen will be able to deal a lot better with these spearmen, given that they're anti-infantry. But look at this. Kaspar was able to deny that other racks, but now the spearmen for Kaspar are dead. The axemen are able to turn the tide, and StriKeR also pulled his Priestess of Ra away there to heal his units. Perhaps would have been smarter for Kaspar to fall back a little bit. He did do a great job of idling a lot of StriKER's villagers and causing quite a bit of damage. He dropped a few spearmen for StriKER. He dropped a couple villagers. So, you know, sometimes it's best to recognize when you've done the damage and then retreat. So maybe Kaspar would have been better served to save his spearmen there. But nevertheless, here comes the counterattack from StriKER. StriKER moving across the map now with his axemen, recognizes that in all likelihood, Kaspar does not have an answer for this, and in fact, he does not. Kaspar has no units in queue. He needs to queue up some longswords, and look at this. Terrible timing for Kaspar. Oh, this is such a bad decision from Kaspar. He needs to make sure he has units onto the field before he tries for this hunt. Now this is going to be completely uncontested from StriKeR, and StriKeR just completely denies this hunt. So, very unfortunate there for Kaspar. Kaspar did a great job with that early game aggression, but is not following up well here. He needs to queue up some longswords. He needs, but look, he's food starved now because he didn't transition his hunts. You know, our top tier players, you see them often transitioning to that second hunt kind of towards the last quarter or last third of their original hunt, so that they have a smooth transition. But you also see them sending units to protect that hunt, to protect against things exactly like this, you know, a counter push from your opponent, or just a regular initial push. So, unfortunate there for Kaspar. He is now getting the storehouse down on his berries, so he's deciding instead to kind of go for these berries. He is getting that berry picker upgrade, so that's going to help, but unfortunately for him, that was just kind of a very bad transition. He does have some longswords on the field now, so these longswords will be able to help deal with these axemen, but again, he's now suddenly a little bit behind, and he also doesn't have his second town center yet. He's got the wood, he's got the stone as well. I think maybe he's just forgotten. He needs to get that second town center down. Meanwhile, StriKeR, look at this, very forward town center for StriKeR. StriKeR trying to establish some map control here with this town center. He is protecting it. It's got some more axemen onto the field as well. So interesting from StriKeR there. It's not really protecting any resources. It's not really protecting any gold mines or stone mines. It's protecting a couple boars and a wood line, but primarily I think he's going for some map control here with this town center. So interesting choice there from StriKeR. And here comes the Sacred Grove for Kaspar, and there's that town center for Kaspar. So Kaspar choosing to go for a town center in the back of his base, protect his wood line, protect this gold mine here, kind of protect this back choke point. So all in all, not terrible from Kaspar. We'll see. He is amassing some longswords now, and he's getting Sacred Grove and an archer range. So interesting choice from Kaspar. I don't know if he maybe scouted his opponent's base. I mean, surely he didn't, because otherwise, I mean, he, you know, I don't know. We'll see, but I think Kaspar is just maybe preparing for a slinger ball, or perhaps looking to maybe go to age 3 and get a bowman ball. You know, that could be a possibility for him to maybe deal with these axemen. But if he does choose to do that, he needs to go to age 3 fairly quickly. He's queued up a lot of sacred deer, so maybe that's a smart choice for him, going for some sacred deer to help him transition better for food, to get off those berry bushes. So we'll see. That might be a smart choice for Kaspar. But here's a big engagement here. A couple of shots from the town center coming down, but StriKeR does have the numbers advantage in terms of these axemen, so he is going to be able to win this engagement. He does choose to fall back. Kaspar now queuing up spearmen. I don't know about this choice of spearmen. Again, maybe he's anticipating some camels, but he doesn't see any stables here for his opponent. So interesting choice there for Kaspar to queue up some spearmen. Maybe he was starved for gold. I'm not sure. But he is queuing up slingers as well. So again, I guess maybe he's looking to go for a ball of slingers. I don't know. We'll see. At this point, Kaspar has pretty much squandered his early advantage there, that early aggression. He's kind of now suddenly defending, and he's having to deal with the aggression of StriKeR. So StriKeR, very good job of defending that early aggression and now translating that into some aggression of his own. And StriKeR just going pretty much full-on axeman composition here. He's got a Priestess of Ra down here to do some healing, so that'll be good for him there. Meanwhile, Kaspar's still streaming in slingers and has not gotten any druids here from this Sacred Grove. Perhaps a bit of an oversight. Maybe should have queued up a couple druids first before he started queuing up Sacred Deer. I do like the choice to go for the Sacred Deer. This is going to be a faster food source than these berry bushes, but he doesn't have any druids. He does have plenty of lumberjacks and plenty of wood. Maybe he should build another Sacred Grove to try to get out some druids here for his army, because he desperately needs some healing, and those druids also empower his units. So he needs to get up some druids, and thankfully he has transitioned now back to longswords. Again, he queued up a few spearmen, I guess, just to continue to get some unit production going, because he was kind of starved for gold. He does now have 2 gold mines going, so that's good for him. But look at this. Is he going to be able to deal with this pressure? And look at this BM from StriKeR. He's not even in the Norse, and he's going for a tower rush. What is this? Wow. Look at this. So here comes Kaspar using his gold miners. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake there. These numbers are just going to be able to completely surround the longswords of Kaspar and just completely decimate this army for Kaspar. So very opportune push here for StriKeR. Streaming in more units as we speak. He's got some Spearman Champion coming in. And yeah, look at this. The army is completely decimated for Kaspar. And StriKeR is going to be able to push into Kaspar's base here, and this very well might be GG. Kaspar trying to throw up a tower here, but I think it's going to be too little too late. Excellent push here from StriKeR. He's got these towers as well to kind of chokehold his opponent. Kaspar trying to throw up towers of his own, but it's just that's not going to be enough, and that's a GG. Good game. You know, ultimately, Kaspar, you know, he was able to get some great early game aggression with that Spearman rush, and he kind of had StriKeR on his back foot there, but StriKeR was able to get to H2, get out those Axemen, and get rid of that Spearman push from Kaspar. And then Kaspar just didn't follow up very well, you know, on that rush. He didn't transition to H2 well. He had no food. He was trying to transition to the second hunt and was never able to do it. You know, StriKeR, excellent counter push from StriKeR here to deny the second hunt for Kaspar, and that put him behind in terms of unit production. And so Kaspar just never had the massive longswords to deal with StriKER's Axemen. And then this decision to go for slingers, I don't know that was the best. You know, I guess he was just trying to make use of his wood, which is understandable, but perhaps a better use of his wood would have been more barracks, a couple of Sacred Groves, and and armory upgrades, you know, for his longswords. Perhaps would have been better for him there. So we'll take a look at some post-game stats. I'm going to tell the boys the rules. Alright, so while we're waiting on Kaspar's next map choice, let's take a look at some quick stats here. Fairly even on villagers, so Kaspar not really too far behind. You know, it's behind a little bit, but not terribly. Started to drop some, you know, he kind of flatlined here, although both players did. And then kind of was a little behind there, but look at this military population. Ever since really this is when the Spearman rush was depleted for Kaspar, and look how long it took. It took him almost 3 minutes, you know, about 2 minutes, 2 whole minutes to get military population again. That was just that absolutely decimated his early game advantage there, and StriKeR never relinquished control militarily and was able to win the game. So, GG. GG for our players there. Let's get. So let me know what you guys think about that game. Let me know what you think kind of the biggest mistake for Kaspar was there. Game number 1 goes to StriKeR. Sorry guys, it's a new overlay here, so I'm trying to get used to it. Oh my god. To StriKeR. Erie says just macro in general. Yeah, I think Kaspar just didn't have an overall kind of game plan there to keep up with StriKeR. So but well played from StriKeR. Persian Dude, hello. Thanks for joining the stream, my friend. Hope you enjoy. I'm usually here during the tourneys. Just keep quiet to enjoy the matches. Very cool. Well, we appreciate you dropping by, or we appreciate you checking out the tournament, Persian. I'm glad you're here. Legend Moa, hello. Thanks for joining. Appreciate everyone joining. We're up to 25 viewers. Be sure to invite your friends, get them in here. Okay, so we've got game number 2 coming up, and Kaspar has chosen the Norse. Meanwhile, StriKeR has chosen, I think I saw the Babylonians. I hope that's not wrong. And the map will be Mountain Crossing. Mountain Crossing. So, Mountain Crossing is going to be the map, and we're going to have the Norse versus the Babylonians. So, let me see if our players are ready for game number 2. All Alright, so I'm just going to make sure we're going to make sure our players are ready, and we're going to get into game number 2, StriKeR versus Kaspar on Mountain Crossing. Alright, folks, game number 2. Here we go. Let me see in chat. You think StriKeR is going to be able to close it out 2-0? And more importantly in chat, well, not more importantly, every game is important, but also in chat, let's get some Eerie versus Carnage or we riot. Who is ready to see Eerie versus Carnage? We want to see it today, folks. Alright, so it looks like the game is not launching, so I'm going to have to relaunch it. Oh man, sorry guys, I'm tired. Alright, we're going to try to get this game launched here. Game loading crashed. We'll restart. Got it. Alright, here we go. Game number 2. Starting right up. Okay. So here we go, boys and girls. In our blue corner, the Norse, the Vikings of Kaspar versus the red corner, the Babylonians of StriKeR. So, Mountain Crossing, for those of you who maybe are new to the game or just checking us out, Mountain Crossing is a pretty interesting, pretty cool map. It's pretty balanced. You know, each player has this lake behind their base so that they can get some usually uninhibited fishing from their fishing boats and their docks. But then there is this kind of, as the name implies, this crossing in the middle. Both players are partitioned off by these mountain walls, these cliff walls here. You've got one choke point in kind of the south of each player's base, and then you've got and that's in the corner, while there's a northern choke point that's kind of in the middle of the cliffs for both players on either side, and then of course your middle opening. So, and then usually either in the southern neutral corner or the northern neutral corner, there is another lake as well that sometimes we see our players vie for control of to get that extra fishing, that extra food income. So we'll see if one of our players tries to, or both of our players tries to vie for control of this middle lake here. It can sometimes turn into a fairly defensive game. You know, you can get a lot of walls going here on these choke points. So, and again, usually it's going to come down to which player can gain control of either of these two neutral spaces in the map. So we will see. Our Norse player, Kaspar, here, he is on his hunt, and he's also on his tree line here, so opting to go for that double storehouse, and he's got his barracks coming up as well. This Norse scout, the melee scout, is able to build barracks, and while the ranged scout is able to build outposts, which train war dogs and provide line of sight. So looks like StriKeR here, look at this, StriKeR's not going for an early Rax. StriKeR looks like is going very early H2 and going for an early second town center. He's got an ox cart on the tree line here. He's got an ox cart on stone and the hunts, and his ziggurat is coming down. The Babylonians have to build this ziggurat to age up to age 2, and then from there they click the button to age up. The tech upgrade age up button is in the ziggurat. So we'll see if this early H2 build pays off for StriKeR. Kaspar did get his racks up first, but he's only got 1 spearman out so far. No further spearmen yet. So he needs to queue up some more spearmen here. Bronze age has been achieved for StriKeR. And here comes that barracks as well. So StriKeR's also got his scout kind of strategically placed here in the middle to be able to see if and when any spearmen come across the map for Kaspar. But so far Kaspar has simply trained 1 spearman and not gone any further. So he is going to H2. He's getting picker's gloves. Not sure why he's getting picker's gloves. Maybe he's already assuming he's going to have to go to his berries next. He did just find this hunt here. Usually there's a hunt down here somewhere. I guess not in this game though. There's a couple wolves. Yeah, so maybe he's just anticipating having to go to berries, although he does need to get a dock up so he can get some fishing going. Same for StriKeR. You know, our players are missing an opportunity to get a lot of food production. Let's get a villager count. 20 to 16. So StriKeR's a little bit ahead in villagers. A little bit ahead in villagers. Kaspar gathering from stone here. He does now have enough stone for a second town center. So we'll see where he chooses to put it. Looks like, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like he might choose to put it in the front of his base here to cover this gold mine and cover the front door to his base. So a nice choice there from Kaspar. He's got his ranged scout up here. He might want to throw down an outpost as soon as he has the wood, maybe to get some line of sight on this lake, and then also get some war dogs, maybe get some harass on his opponent here. StriKeR so far is just kind of content to boom up his economy here. He is getting out some shield bearers. I don't know that shield bearers are necessary against Norse. I'm trying to think, you know, I don't think our Norse player is going to go for any ranged units, and usually you want to see shield bearers to kind of be anti-ranged, but I don't know, we'll see. Might just be queuing them up to get some units onto the field. He is getting an archery range down, so I anticipate we'll probably see some bowmen onto the field. StriKeR going. Kaspar was the one that killed these deer, but StriKeR is taking that hunt for himself, so pretty rude from StriKeR to take another man's deer, but who am I to judge? Here comes the second town center right here to the south for StriKeR. Well, it didn't just now come. It's been there for a second, but interesting map. Actually, a very interesting map. Oh my goodness. Very interesting map spawn for StriKeR. I'm just now realizing this. He's got this entire line of trees here. I think you could probably get through right there and probably right here. But very interesting spawn of trees there for StriKeR. Kaspar, meanwhile, is getting down the stables, so we might see maybe some raiders here for the Norse, which would be good for Kaspar to try to get some pressure onto his opponent. And dock is now down for Kaspar, but no fishing boats out yet. He does have the wood, so he needs to get out some fishing boats that'll help his food production there. Nice little push here from Kaspar is going to force StriKeR off these hunts with these throwing axemen. So saying, hey bro, I killed these deer, they're mine. Catching up on chat real quick here. Persian dude's favorite civilization is the Persians, of course. Who else? Second favorite is Celts because of strong infantry. Yep, Celts are my personal favorite right now, although, as you mentioned earlier, Persian dude, my name is a reference to the movie Gladiator. A gladiator who rebelled against the Empire of Rome, so Romans will probably be my favorite civ once they come out. And to answer your question on Romans, the latest news that we've got for them is that they're going to be coming sometime in 2020. There will be at least several more months of development on them. We've got a few more units to reveal for the Romans, and when I say we, the development team has got a few more units to reveal for the Romans, and then they anticipate about a month to 3 months for balancing on the Romans and tying up final details and things of that nature once those final 4 units are revealed. So be sure to check out the Discord and the forums. The Discord's got the links to the forums, but on the forums there are Roman blogs that give us usually weekly updates on the Romans. They did indicate, the development team did indicate that the Roman blogs will be delayed or will not happen for the next couple weeks in order to get the winter event going, the winter holiday event going. So the Roman blogs will be postponed for a little bit while the winter event is created, but then that will also give the development team time to get those Roman units ready as well. So I'm very excited. I'm a little too impatient, unfortunately. I need to have some more patience, but I'm very excited for the Romans, so everyone else should be too. Lacaum, everyone say hi to Lacaum. He is in the chat, and he did organize this Cup of Beer 4 tournament. So, huge shout out to Lacaum. Let's say our thanks to Lacaum for organizing the tournament. We really appreciate that. It's always nice to have players and members of the community organize tournaments. So, huge thanks to him for sure to get this going here. Kaspar's going to age 3. Back to the game here real quick. Kaspar's got a nice bank of resources. He went to age 3 and he still has a decent bank of resources. I'd like to see some war dogs maybe out of this outpost. He did take my advice and threw down an outpost right here, but he needs to get some war dogs out, maybe get some pressure. He had his raiders, but chose not to do anything with them, so he didn't do any raiding with them. So we'll see. Big push here from StriKeR. He's got a lot of bowmen. Look at this, 24 bowmen. These raiders do have a bonus against range, so Kaspar needs to try to micro these raiders and flank these bowmen here. These throwing axemen have a little bit of range themselves, although they are typically anti-infantry, although they do have a bonus against ranged as well, so pretty powerful unit there for the Norse. And StriKER's going to decide, you know what, since both of these units have a bonus against ranged, he's going to decide that he wants to fall back, and look at this. He's going to come back with a siege tower in tow, so that could be devastating for Kaspar there to have to deal with the siege tower. I'd like to see maybe StriKER garrison the units into the siege tower to make use of. The siege tower does get a ranged attack when you garrison units in it. I highly recommend to players that if you're new to PvP or new to the game in general, that you turn on one-click garrisoning. It can be bothersome at times if you're not used to it, but if you can do a great job like StriKER is here, if you have a hotkey for ungarrisoning units, then it can work out in your favor. And look at this, StriKER is garrisoning those bowmen in the siege tower long enough to get a shot off from the siege tower, and then ungarrisoning them. So that was very cool micro there, very cool display of micro from StriKER. One-click garrison those bowmen into the siege tower, get a shot off from the siege tower, and then ungarrison the bowmen, let them get a shot off, and rinse and repeat. So pretty cool there from StriKER. Kaspar, maybe inopportune time. He's going to try to throw down a fortress. Does StriKER see this? I don't think he does. He does not see that, but here comes another siege tower, so I'm sure he'll be pushing in very shortly. This could spell the end of Kaspar. Here's this push. Kaspar. He's got some Hardjars onto the field. I don't know that Hardjar are the best choice here. Hardjar are fairly tanky, but they're just going to be melted by these bowmen. And look at this. The siege tower is going to deny this fortress. These bowmen are going to make short work of these throwing axemen. Here comes another siege tower. This is the beginning of the end for Kaspar, folks. Kaspar, huge bank of food and wood, but no gold. Or I shouldn't say no gold. He's low on gold. Trying to go for the siege tower with his villagers, and it's not going to work out for him. GG to both our players. G. So, StriKeR takes game number 2 and the series. StriKeR will move on to play Kaban in round number 2 of the tournament. And Kaspar will move down to the losers bracket. I believe Kaspar is going to play Zertan next, if I'm not mistaken. So Kaspar will play Zertan, and Zertan is a very strong player, so I anticipate Zertan taking that series. And then Zertan will actually move on to play against yours truly, TheSpaniard, in round number 2 of the losers bracket. And while your boy Spaniard is, you know, anything can happen, and I'm gonna play my darndest. But Zertan being a top player, I anticipate meeting my demise very quickly. So we'll see. But take a look at some post-game stats here. So StriKeR wins. Kaspar goes down to the losers bracket. But let's look at this game real quick, just to recap this game real quick. Yeah, look at this. Pretty significant difference in villager population for Kaspar and StriKeR. Kaspar kind of fell behind in villagers right here. He dipped in villagers for about 30 seconds to a minute here, and then was behind, dipped again here, and was behind the rest of the game. Kaspar did do a better job this time of having military population, but as you can see right here with this initial engagement, those bowmen were just very devastating for Kaspar. Kaspar needed to micro his raiders to flank those bowmen. Needed to have a higher mass of units to be able to deal with these bowmen, and so ultimately lost that engagement there. Lost the game. Slight advantage in terms of technologies for Kaspar, but again, just the overall macro, and yeah, because look at that, villagers 22 advantage there for StriKeR. So even despite the fact that Babylonians have to train their ox cart out of their town center, and so that can delay their villager production a little bit. Of course, they make up for it by the fact that the ox cart provides them very good economic bonus, given the fact that it's mobile and it moves with your villagers, so there's virtually no travel time for your villagers when gathering resources. But anyway, nevertheless, again, macro, name of the game here.